Okay, I'm going to show you a little bit more about these sections and how to start your second section and put them on the same layout. Since I brought that up, I thought I might as well show you. For my second section, I'm going to do a cross section of this auditorium here. That's just, something interesting you might need to see and might need more detail about, like how big these steps are. And you can gather a lot of that information about the building through that section cut in another area. Now you won't be able to measure these steps, but we can make some assumptions at this point, and that'll be good enough. You could also make your section cut across the gallery space and get that mezzanine level up there. That would be an interesting point, or maybe even this vaulted area for the shop. Same thing. You can choose where this section will be. The idea behind this should be the same. So let's say I cut my section through this mezzanine gallery, right? So what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to copy over again these grid lines. I'm just going to pull them right to the side here. I'm going to mirror these grid lines, so my markers, my indicators for each grid are going to be on the top. So I'm going to mirror these over here. Erase source object, no. Pull these down a little bit. I'm going to ungroup these. So I'm going to delete these grids because they don't mean anything for this view. Now I've got my start of these grid lines, okay? So same thing as before. You're going to want to establish a baseline for your floor. I'm going to create some elevation lines here. Pull that down. And by now, since you've done your other section, you should know at what distance this should be. I don't know off the top of my head, so I'm just going to make it up. Just copy these over. Now go back to your other section and you know what these distances are going to be, so you can copy those so you have your floor distances, right? And then you can start modeling your floor system, same as before. If you go to your walls, you can start modeling elements like you've done. So once you get this grid going and this view going, you notice I'm modeling sideways. So up is to the left and down toward the ground is to my right. That might be a little confusing, so we're going to set up our viewport, and you can actually model in model space on your layout instead, which would be upright if that makes more sense to you. And then you can also view your other section at the same time without having to pan all the way over here every time you want to get some information from the other section. So I'm going to show you how to set up that layout. I've just copied over level 3. I copied it over here by pushing Control and dragging it. You can also copy level 2 and drag it in between these two and then move it, rename it, however that works. Now I've kept this section. If I click on my viewport here, I'm at 1/8 inch. If I double click to go into model space here, I can move this around so I can set this up. Both sections should be able to fit on the same layout, so we don't need a different layout for each section. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'll say this is a good location. I'm going to lock this in. I'm going to double click out here to go back to paper space. I'm going to select my viewport again. I'm going to change the size of this viewport. Say right there. Now I'm just going to copy this down so I have a second viewport here. I'll just line this up. Now double click in here. It's locked. I'm going to unlock it. Now I'm just going to go over to my second section that I started over here. Go back to 1/8 inch. scale. And now what I want to do is go back out to paper space, double click outside, grab this viewport again, and now just rotate this viewport. And just rotate it 90 degrees. Okay, now you're going to have to resize it. Double clicking to enter into model space so I can find my view again. Now see, I'm upside down. I want this to be at the top. And I'm going to have to rotate my numbers as well. So I'm upside down. I'm going to go out to paper space, grab my viewport, rotate the other way 180 degrees. Clicking back into model space. I now have my grids, so I'm going to pull down close to my view. Okay, so we'll go back to 1/8 inch scale, and it should be able to fit when all is said and done, because it's going to be the same scale as this one above, so it should be able to fit on this page just fine. Now if I wanted, I could also change this viewport size. I could have some schedules or legends out here that don't have to be in this viewport that could give more information on this page. So that's how you set up your sections layout page and your second section that you can begin to draw on. And then you can see this information up here, say this is such and such dimension. I can just move these level markers to that same dimension, drop, copy over a lot of this information from here down to here, so you should have two sections on this layout at the end.